I feel like this video is just going to be like 10 minutes of me ranting about a £40 bag that is more likely to get your film scanned in the airport. What up, motherfucker? How are you? Great to see you. It's been a minute. I'm going to get the microphone nice and close so you can hear this. That is what joy sounds like. Oh yes, finally, a nice cup of tea. So I've just got back from America, hence the layers. I'm wearing like 14 layers because it is cold here in the UK. This weather in Blighty, brother, it is not for me. We flew out of MCO in Orlando. So we've gone from a super lovely, nice, happy, there's lizards everywhere sort of climate to grey, miserable. The UK. Grey Britain. It's unhealthy the amount of times I thought about tea whilst I was in America. This cup of tea tastes like someone drank a cup of tea this morning, has since pissed it out, and now I'm drinking it. Anyway, I do have a script, so there's a little bit of focus in this video because my fizzy little brain, oh boy, does it like to wander. I say script, I mean I've written like 4 lines, so try to keep my brain in the right place. So whilst I was in the US, I shot an extreme amount of film. But whilst I'm waiting for the film to develop so I can make a bunch of film photography based videos from the trip, I thought I would make a couple quick videos just to get back in the swing of things whilst I'm waiting for that film. So today I want to talk about traveling with film and a bunch of things that I wish I knew before I started doing it, because it ain't like traveling with a digital camera. Traveling with film is kind of like traveling with a toddler. If you're about to take film on a trip for the first time in a while, or just the first time ever, then this could be a very useful video. I do feel like this is going to be 10 minutes of me slagging off those shit lead-lined bags everyone keeps saying you should buy, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm going to split this video into 3 sections. Section number 1 will be things to do before you leave on a trip with film. Section 2 will be things to do when you're on the way to your destination to keep the film safe. And section 3, things to do when you get to the place you're going, basically. All right, let's go. So, number 1, things that you should do before you leave on a trip with film. Okay, first and foremost, think ahead. If you're going on a trip, you already have an idea of the sort of climate you're going to be in, the kind of places you're going to be, and when you are thinking about buying film for your trip, keep in mind where you are going to be and how you are going to be using it. For example, I just got back from Florida. I knew it was going to be very, very warm and very, very sunny. He says sarcastically because it rained a lot. But alas, nonetheless, I knew it would be very bright. So I knew that shooting something like Pro Image 100 would be perfect. And also Pro Image 100 is specifically made to handle humidity better. And Florida is very, very wet. It's damp. The air is moist in Florida. I should have done like a trigger warning before I said the M word. Moist. Another thing you want to do before you leave for your trip is always make sure that you have more film than you think you're going to need when you get there. There is nothing worse than having to either minimize how much you're shooting whilst you're away or just running out completely, going to reload your camera and being like, oh, there's no film left. There is nothing worse, because then you're going to have to turn to using a digital camera. No one wants to do that, do they? Come on. Jesus Christ. We didn't buy little hats to shoot digital, did we? Let's be serious, boys. Keep your digital camera. He says, I shot so much digital while I was away. Yikes. Fuji X100 digital though, so that's allowed. Like, that's still hipster as right? Video coming about that, by the way. Another thing you want to consider when you're buying film for your trip is try to buy film at varying speeds. Like, I knew I was going to be shooting behind the scenes stuff at Horror Nights, which means I was going to be in like dark spaces indoors, so I picked up a load of 3200 Delta, took a roll of Portrait 800. Wasn't enough, but we'll get to that when we get to the Portrait 800 video. But yeah, try and take a variety of different speeds. Also, we're going to talk more about CT scanners when we get to the traveling to your destination bit, but if everything goes wrong and all your film gets CT scanned, the lower the speed of your film, the better chance there is of it not being ruined. So I always travel with like a backup roll of like 100, 200 speed film, kind of just for that reason. And the final tip in this section of the video is to take more than one camera. There's, again, nothing worse than your camera just bricking in your hand, just stopping working, and you're like, well, I've got £300 worth of film that I now cannot shoot, and I have to get it back through the airport, all this stuff for no reward at the end because I don't have a film camera anymore. Take more than one camera. Okay, section 2. These are things that will be helpful when you're traveling to your destination. So let's address the elephant in the room immediately, and that is film and CT scanners in airports. I made a video about this a while ago, you may have seen it. If you haven't, long story short, your film can't go in a CT scanner, otherwise it will damage it. It's not the day ruiner that people make out that it would be. Like, I've done it by accident and 200 speed film survived pretty well. Like, I could tell it was scanned, but it wasn't like game over. Don't just put it in the bin, you may as well still shoot it. But if my Delta 3200 went through the scanner, that feels like game over. So keep your film away from CT scanners. Best way to do this is to not buy one of these bags. A, this won't protect it from a CT scanner anyway, and B, if you put this in an X-ray machine and the person operating the X-ray machine sees a bag with a big brick in the way covering the contents of the bag, on what planet do people think that they're going to just let that bag go through security? They're going to open the bag, they're going to pour it into a little tray, your stuff's going to get scanned anyway. By using one of these bags, not only is it A, not going to work, but B, you take away the opportunity for you to have a human conversation because you've already gone down the line by that point. You're essentially just kicking the baby bird out of the nest before it can fly. Like, f off, mate. Best of luck. You want to be handing your film over to the person at security and being like, hello, this is camera film. Please, can you do a manual inspection on it because it can't go in the scanners. It's very, very sensitive. Job done. Job done. Look the security person in the eye and say, please, please don't ruin all my film. Another tip for going through like airport security is that you want to keep your eyes on your film all the time. So the way that I do it is I will ask for a hand check, I put it in like a little clear bag, make it as easy as possible for them, and I always give them the film last. So I filled my tray, I've taken everything out of my pockets, done everything I need to do, and then the last thing I do is give airport security my film because that's the least amount of time between me standing there and me going through whatever scanner I have to go through so I can be at the other side before they get there. So it just means that you've got a head start and you can watch where your film goes. And what they'll typically do is they'll take it on the side and they'll go to the bottom and then they hand check them at the bottom usually where you can see it, especially TSA in America. So once you're through the scanner, personally, like you can go and you can just go and chat and be like, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. If airport security hand check your film, say thank you. Say thank you 10 times. Make sure they understand that we as film photographers really, 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 really appreciate it. But a little side tip here is it's always a good idea when you're traveling somewhere to look for film labs and camera shops where you can buy film in advance. So if you have a nightmare in the airport and all your film gets scanned, whatever, and you don't want to rely on it, then you've got an option. Once you land on the other side, you can go and pick up film somewhere else, and you can likely get that film developed over there as well before you come back, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so you made it through airport security, your film is all good, you are now going out into the world and you are taking photos. Welcome to part 3 of this video. How to look after your film when you get to wherever you're traveling to. So here's the big one. If you're going to public events, if you're going to like stadiums or arenas or whatever, or you're going into theme parks, you'll often have to put your bags through CT scanners. Totally normal for big events. Safety is very important, but obviously you don't want your film going in these CT scanners. So you need to learn to have that conversation of, hello, my film can't go in the scanner, it's sensitive, please can you take this from me while I go through whatever scanner I have to go through and I'll pick it up on the other side. Please don't scan this, it will ruin it. Most places will be aware of this, it's totally fine. There was one instance on this trip where I just had to put my elbows out and be like, no. And this was where we were going through scanners and I'd been in and out of this place a couple of times whilst I was there, and I always just hand it over. They go around the side, I go through, give me on the other side, bag check, done, perfect. And this guy just was not having any of it. We were walking up to the line and he was yelling at people to not stop. He was like, keep walking, walk faster. He was just yelling at people. And like, Before I even got there, I was like, this is going to be a problem. But I got to the front of the line and I was like, hello, this is film. Can't go in that scanner. I usually just pass it round or whatever. And he was like, nope, everything goes in the scanner or you don't go in. And I was like, no, we've done this before. Like, it's totally fine. It's film. It'll get damaged. It's very sensitive. So if I put this film in there, then it gets destroyed. There's no point in me using it. Usually what we do is there's a way around. And he was just like, no, not doing it. Keep moving. And I was like, no, I'm not going to keep moving. And basically when the bully tactic didn't work and he couldn't just physically bully me through the scanner, I became a problem, and then he sent me to someone else and they did it absolutely no problem. So the lesson to be learned from this is that it might feel awkward and you might be like, oh, I can't believe we have to do this. But at the end of the day, you're not doing anything wrong by carrying film. Sometimes you just have to sort of put your elbows out and be like, no, I'm not going to let you ruin the film in my camera just because you can't be bothered doing your job. Another thing that you can do whilst you're at your destination traveling with film, and this is especially a good idea if you're staying in one place, is you can get your film developed whilst you're there. It means you don't have to worry about getting it back through the airport, and you're also creating a backup of your photos by having your scans emailed to you, pick up the negatives before you leave. Job's a good one. And by finding a lab to get your film developed at, you're also likely finding a shop that will sell you more film should you need it as well, which is always helpful. All right, there we have it. First video back. It's good to be making videos again. Very excited to share all the photo and video stuff that I shot whilst I was away. So much film photography stuff. I shot like a real variety of things on a bunch of different cameras. I made some risky choices when I was photographing stuff, so we're gonna unpack it all together. I'm excited. Thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like it. Consider subscribing to the channel for all the stuff coming up from the trip. I hope you're good. I hope the family's good. I hope your dog is good. As always, little scratch behind the ear from me, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Peace.